Welcome to this Sahara 4 exercise. In this exercise, we will review pattern maps. In this exercise, we will show some information, some graphical information, and some reports associated with the results of the simulation run that we did in the previous exercise. So let's go to the Sahara project. And once here, we can see I'm standing here on the layer number 17 at the date before the start of the secondary recovery start. So now I will select flow elements here, and by clicking here on variables or by adding variables here, you can select a number of variables and see the evolution over time of them inside each flow element. So for this example, let's select injected water. Injected water cumulative. Let's select oil cumulative. Let's select the saturation, the oil saturation, and let's select the pore volume. So let's now advance a little bit. Let's select for now pore volume. Here we can check over time how the flow elements change, and the pore volume inside of them changes as well. Here we have a gamma that will show the different values of porosity of pore volume, sorry, inside each of the flow elements with different colors. By clicking here, for example, we can check on the water injected, and now the water injected in each different element will change over time. Here we can see that the higher values of water injected is going to be reflected with a blue color, and the ones with a lower water injected in the flow element is going to be plotted as yellow greenish color. So we can see that over time how they are going to change. As we can see here, this is always going to be the automatic scale. So for example, you can see that this color starts to get a little bit like closer to a lower level, to a lower value or amount of water injected, but it is because the rest are increasing, and for some reason this injector here, D22, stop injecting here. So as time goes on, the total water injected in these flow elements gets closer to the ones here. So we can check the evolution over time of the water injected in the, we can see the change in the geometry of the flow elements, but also the change of the water injected in each one. Here we can review the criteria that Sahara uses to assign the total water injected to the new elements as well. So for example, we can see here that we have a higher value here, but when the flow element changes, because we have this conversion here, this total water injected is redistributed between the two different now flow elements with different geometries. So we can do the same for oil, for example. Let's use different colors. Here for lower oil recovery, let's use, for example, this whitish color, and for higher oil recovery, let's use green. So here we can see that when the flow elements become, the more green they are, the higher net produced oil it has in that flow element. We can see, for example, that at this point in time, this flow element is producing a lot of oil compared to the rest of them. In these two as well, we have this deeper green color for these two flow elements compared to the rest of them that are with a more light green color instead. But here we can see that over time how the values, how the total net produced in thousands of barrels oil produced is increasing over time. Here we can see the oil recovery as well. Let's use another color here. Sorry, the oil saturation. For example, for a low oil saturation, let's use blue, and for a higher oil saturation, let's use green. So here we can see that the starting point is not as high of the oil saturation. Here we can see that we have this more greenish color here, and as time goes on, the color become closer to the one of the minimal oil saturation, that is blue completely. So we can see how the depletion, how the sweep of the flow element evolves over time by moving here. Here we can see that the pattern of this injector gets closer and closer to the minimal oil saturation up to this date where it has been completely swept. Yeah, in this date it has been completely swept. Instead, these two have a little bit more yet to sweep to reach the final oil saturation. um, yeah, so we can see these different variables over time, and see how they evolve with with the advancement of time of the simulator over. So these are some of the options, and here we can also check on reports. If we go to the map window, we can check on reports here, and we have a number of different reports. These are going to be associated to the map that is being plotted, so we are not interested in that right now. But here we have other reports. For example, we can check on the injection pattern here, and we can see from the point of view of the injectors that are being shown in the screen at the moment, we can see the different values of the total polar volume that each one is contacting with the sum of all the different flow elements, the area, the water injected at the date that we are checking. So if we change this, we can see that the ones that are dynamic, the water injected, and the, for example, the saturation of oil as well, will change over time. Here we can see the original oil in place, that this is the original oil, and this is the amount of that original oil in place that is being recovered, and the recovery factor as well. um, Here we can check the same, but from the point of view of the producers instead of the injectors. So now we will see the same graph, the same table, sorry, but instead of focusing on the injectors, we will focus on the producers, and we can check the total polar volume of all the flow elements that are reaching that producer, the total area, the total water injected, the saturation of oil, the original oil in place, the net produce, and the recovery factor. And here we can also have a report for each flow element. So here we will check on the combination of all of them. Here we can see also the recovery factor, the coefficient that is associated to this flow element, the oil in place, the net produce, and also the saturation of oil, the total polar volumes injected at the date that we are standing on here. We can see that this will change over time. If we even the table is going to reflect the current active flow elements that are in this date. So the table is always going to evolve dynamically with the date that you are selecting here. So we have these two options here to visualize and review the reports, the results of the simulation that we ran previously. So we can copy always these reports to the clipboard, so we can export it, for example, to Excel or any other or any other uh, use of the table that we may want. So yeah, that will be everything for this tutorial. We have done some more in detail analysis of the results that we have reviewed, that we have received for the simulator. So thank you for watching, and have a great day.